There are lots of movements right now. Archaeology is turning up a lot of things. Reportedly, there's a big vault in Iran that has been opened, revealing that black people were the original Israelites. In the beginning, God created humanity. There was a covenant. You take care of the garden, I take care of you. That covenant was broken. All the descending humanity descended. There was renewing of covenant throughout the ages. And Noah is an example. And that is why we have what is called the Noahide laws. There was a set of laws that Adam and Eve were given outside the garden. Then again, we have the Israelites through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And there were additional laws placed on them. They were supposed to go forth, spread across the earth. The Israelites were to be a light among the people. Not all of them agree. However, it is understood by many that they were to go out amongst the nations, that they were supposed to bring this law, to be that light, to be the ones, to be an example of how to fulfill God's law, to be in covenant with our Creator. And even amongst the strictest modern Jewish people, I believe it's in one of their groups of teachings. The one that comes to mind is the Midrash, but don't hold me to that, because they have the Torah, the Tanakh, and I'm not saying everything correctly, and they have their Midrash, and then there's a fourth one that they draw from. But it tells how, God brought the law first to all the other nations. It said, hey, do you want to fulfill this law? And they're like, no, our ancestors' blessing or curse, whichever someone experiences it is, the blessing was that our hand would be in everything. Therefore, we cannot adhere to the law that we would not steal. So no, we can't be your people of this law. Another one, all adultery, immorality was rampant. It was given to them by their ancestors, and so they said, no, we can't fulfill that part of the law, therefore we cannot be your people of the law. Brought it to another nation, and I'm trying to think of what the third one was. Anyways, there's one issue with, each of them, like, oh, this part of the law we can't fulfill because, the other one, we would be the strong arms, therefore the thou shalt not kill. We can't fulfill that part of the law because we are warriors. This is what we do. So we can't be the people of the law for you. So throughout history, all of humanity has their roots in this covenant with our Creator. Oh God, now I'm falling into the clapping thing. So, the Celts are like, we're awakening to, our origins and our truth, and they're coming out strong. I've been made aware many, many years ago. And apparently this is why I'm drawn out of seclusion. Not only for my own educating and refining, but with my refinement, I am exposed to other belief systems, and they are refined within me. And so, about twice a day, early in the morning, and then early in the evening, it's like a parade of spirits comes through. I don't get possessed, I don't have visions, I'm just aware that different spirits from different cultures are being exposed to me. And I sense, I become aware of their responses. And some of them, it's like they're just fracturing and twisting and lamenting energetically inside me. I'm not like, I'm sitting here, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And there may be something in the background. And some of it is rejoicing. And then again in the evening, we'll go through it. It's like a parade of consciousness that comes through me. And so my being drawn out of isolation is twofold. One, the refinement of myself. I'm on my own journey here. I just happen to have been born highly intuitive, went through the trauma and disassociation and all of that, had occupying spirits that were a very high level, and so I was exposed to their information. And even though they've left, and I have seen them bound, chained, gagged, and lifted out of my field, everything that they knew, I was exposed to. So I have a lot of knowledge of a lot of things that would not be inherent necessarily to your average human being. It's the way it is. Somebody had to be that. The wheel turned. The lot landed on me. So I'm just aware that this is occurring. But my main focus is, how can I come into alignment with our Creator's will for my life and my experience? And so I'm aware of when, for example, the bird tribes returned. You will find there are indigenous peoples who, their legends, their creation story says, well, we came from the bird people and they left us these instructions. You will find many of them were taught how to honor their Creator and how to live in harmony on earth. These would be the good angels, the good watchers. They did their job. And then you have other cultures. Another one that I became aware returning many years ago was, and I want to get every part of her name correct and in the correct order just to show respect. White buffalo calf peace pipe woman. And I resonated with her story because she came as a calf, a buffalo calf, rolled, changed colors, rolled, changed colors, rolled, became a white calf, rolled, became a woman. And there were 3 men who had observed this. 2 of them felt lust in response. One of them ran to the tribe and said, there's a divine being here, and announced her arrival. The 2 who lusted after her died. And So she went and she instructed the people of how to live a proper life and gave them the peace pipe. And so she had returned. Her spirit had. And I could relate to that because so many times I want to have a spiritual conversation. I want to have a exchange of understanding about culture. This is what drives me. This is what motivates me. This is what excites me. This is what draws me. This is what endears me to a person. And most men just want to get laid. How can I get her in the sack? And of course, they're guided by spirits that, want to mislead me, draw me into sin so that they have the right to punish me. I'm one of those who has never suffered a broken bone. I had an accident. My horse hit a car. I went tumbling through the air, landed on the other side of the road. The doctors weren't sure because you really can't do anything about it. You can't put a cast on it. I either bruised or broke my tailbone. So if I have a broken bone, it was the tailbone, which is good because the psychics couldn't get their energy. The lower level couldn't get in there. Works for me. Whatever. But I'm just one of those people. I fall from 3 stories high up in a tree, and it's like each branch just cradled me, passed me down to the next one, passed me down, and I'm cradled. And then I land on the ground. I get a little scratched because there is stones under there. I have been protected to a certain extent. I have seen miracles that help me to say when somebody comes to me and says, you must do things this way. Don't you know it is inevitable that you will end up? And I will look at them and I will say, no. I've seen too many miracles to believe in this law, this science, this method of making money that my following, my gut, my intuition, my instinct is going to inevitably lead me to where you say it's going to lead me. And if it does, I would rather be there than obedient to you. Just miserable. Your life is miserable. I do not admire your life in the pretty house with the perfect family, status in the community, dying of cancer. Morally corrupt. The way you oppress people, your morality and how you oppress people. I do not envy it. I do not want to sit in your seat. I do not want to do to other people what you are doing to me. So, ultimately, we are all God's people. Every nationality comes from tribal roots. They all had spirits in charge of them. Your Nordics, your Celts, your people, who migrated to South America, the people in Siberia. They all had spirits in charge of them. And those spirits, depending on their vibrational level, have been returning in my lifetime. I know. The ones that have been here all along are the ones that were cast down and trapped. And that's why it's called a prison planet. We have the Draconians, we have Greys, and I will put a link down below to a YouTube channel that shares the history of all the angels. What they look like, how they live in their realms, their intentions toward Earth. And in one of them, it goes so far back, so high up vibrationally to the Mother, Father, original source. The avatars, you could say. Their consciousness, how they appear. all the way up to the formless realms. So, if you are encountering a spirit, an entity, a person who you are interacting with, and they say that they are from these people, we have the feline ones, we have the insect ones, we have the ones from under the earth, reptilians, we have the draconian reptilians. So the ones under the earth are the Nagas from Hindu, and you'll find them all. I'll leave the link to that YouTube channel down there so you can see for yourself where these entities, these angels, come in. Right now, the U.S. government is allowing a lot of information to come through by the Nordic. They've been here for a very long time, which means they're fallen. They've been trapped here. It is a prison planet for them. The Greys, obviously, they've been here. They're fallen ones. That is a prison planet for them. The Draconians, we know, are the fallen ones. I have not had any interactions or familiarity with what they call the mantis, or the insectoids, the insect people. But if they have been here influencing humanity, making deals with them, sharing technology and misleading them to become hackers, usurpers of God's will, God's order, God's laws, with this higher understanding and knowledge, they're demons, they're fallen angels, they're fallen watchers, they're trapped here. And they do have their tribes. We all think, like, oh, that tribe way down there, that's been no human, mainstream interaction with modern society. There's one where their people, they guard a spring, a water spring. They have done it forever, and nobody is allowed near that spring unless they are, they pass whatever spiritual examination. Their energy's got to be right, or they can't go near that spring. So they're the true people of God have been on earth. They have had generations. They understand what's going on. And some of them, like, there's this island where anybody goes near it and they throw spears. Recently, a tourist got in trouble because he snuck over there and tried to get on the island, and he got imprisoned or whatever. And anybody else who tries it, they end up dead. We think that they don't know what's going on in the rest of the world. If we think that, we're wrong. There can be tribes down there who do not interact with Western society. They don't accept goods. They don't accept medical treatment. They keep themselves completely isolated. But they have their seers. They will send out curses. They will curse people in mainstream society. One example of an isolated group that is aware of what goes on from a distance, they're called the Mamas, and they're not women, they're men. And all through thousands and thousands of years, they have never ever gotten a prophecy wrong until maybe like 2020, just after the year 2000. And the prophecy had been that by 2012 mainstream society would be destroyed by technology. But their prophecy, it was the first one that was not fulfilled, and they came out to find out why. I'm not pointing at you, I'm emphasizing. I do apologize if it comes across that way. Like making the point to myself. They found out the reason why was because through the internet, people like me were waking up because we suddenly had access before the algorithm was established, before AI started determining what would turn up on a search. We had access to all the knowledge from all the belief systems, and we were sharing knowledge. We were becoming awakened. We were becoming aware. It was like a fire had been set in humanity and was being fed via technology. And so that's why that prophecy did not come true, because it was serving the increasing of awareness of righteousness amongst mankind. And yes, it was preserved and established by the New Age movement so that their channelers could come out and start seducing and leading away all these awakening people and these awakening cultures. So what we're awakening to is the divine revelation is happening. The truth of all things is coming out, and it's coming out everywhere, and it's trying to be claimed by everybody. It's, oppressed people are suddenly trying to overcompensate by making themselves overly important. We have revelation fulfillment going on. The plagues, the natural disasters, they are spelled out in detail. And I receive awareness every time another seal is opened, so that I know and I could point out that is that prophecy. But the government, it's the government's, spraying stuff in the sky. Yes, they've been doing that. They've received that technology. However, it's not all them, but they're going to take credit for it. They would rather you believe it's the government or aliens than they would that this is God passing judgment. In the video I just posted, I pointed out how a church will burn down, and instead of saying, ooh, this might be judgment, we might want to start analyzing our teachings, our beliefs, who we're allowing in our assembly, in our congregation. But no. Oh, it's a natural disaster. Oh, it's a terror attack. We are just martyrs. We are martyrs. Oh, it's persecution. It's persecution in the name of God. No. For the Christians, it was prophesied. They were told, you will be hauled up before judges as a testimony. And if we go back into what they call the Old Testament, Old Testament, which is called the Torah in Jewish tradition, you go back and it says, He disciplines those He loves. They will not be, even His chosen, His most elect, the ones who are close to Him, cannot avoid discipline. And if you notice, a lot of righteous men who have sons that are to follow them, they are doubly hard on their own children. They aren't allowed to call them father when they are amongst the rank and file. They are to come up from the lowliest position and earn their way to the top, because they are going to inherit. They are going to have to understand these people if they're going to inherit the role in how to take care of these people. That is the role of a leader of a community, is to make sure that these people know how to take care of themselves and to make sure the ones who cannot do it are taken care of. That is the role of a leader. And so our Creator, even those who are chosen specifically to play specific roles, they will not avoid judgment. So there are a lot of Christians, they will violate the laws of the land, and they will be brought before the judge and be like, I'm here, I'm only dragged here to testify about the Jesus Christ to you. That is the only reason I'm here. I'm not here because I committed incest with my 6-year-old daughter. I'm not here because I stole something in the name of God. I'm not here because I committed fraud. No, I was brought here solely so I could teach you about our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Giving it to Ra. No. You're there because you're a bad guy. That's why you're there. And our Creator, whose name you think you're preaching in, is holding you accountable through these lowly, unruly sinners, making them more righteous than you, using them to put you in your place. So there's that. So anybody's claim that they are the original, the purest, the true, are being misled. Because we are all from the original, the purest, the true, fallen fruit that rolled down the hill, got bruised, started to rot, and filled with worms. Every single one of us. Not one of us is spared. So that not one of us can elevate ourselves above another. And there you have it. The originals of the originals. No one has a claim to it. No one. If we don't all have a claim to it, no one has a claim to it. We are appreciative that there are pockets that did observe and keep the law so that they can teach their fellows how to do this. The ones who have maintained, we are so appreciative of them. But where they might be wrong, they might be wrong. It's going to happen to us all. So we stay humble. So we don't elevate ourselves. You know, if you've been isolated, well, you haven't been fulfilling the commandment to go forth and be fishers of men and spread throughout the earth, subdue the earth. You didn't do it. So you stayed isolated. You were the ones who took that one coin and buried it in the sand. And then the master comes back and all the people that invested it and increased it are rewarded, and you go to jail. That sucks. Isolation is jail. There's a whole lot of inbreeding, and then they turn to cannibalism, and that corrupts the brain cells so that they go insane. That kind of things happened. Not all of them, but I'm saying. So there you have it. We all came from the same humanity. Our ancestors all throughout history have had opportunities to be introduced to this covenant, to how to fulfill our end of the covenant to be in right relationship with our Creator. We've all got bits and pieces that we can share with one another. You know, how do you obey this one? Okay, how do you feed yourself if you're not doing this? Oh, this is how I do it. Oh, okay. Well, how do you honor and respect this day? Because we have no idea what this day represents. Oh, this is how we do it. Oh, good. Thank you. This is, we're all coming out. We're all sharing our puzzle pieces. Like, I got this piece, I got this piece. That is the way of the people who are learning, who are seriously seeking and striving and open to receiving guidance. This is what we're doing. And I'm sorry for the rest of you who have gone into the opposite extreme from repression and oppression. I was exposed to the teaching about when the Israelites were in the desert, and there was one man who was killed. He was starting fights, and he turned out to be a parallel example from Moses. So Moses was separated from his family. He belonged to nobody. He was rejected by his people when he went to them. What makes you judge over us? Who are you to come here and tell us? You're from out there. You were this guy that left us. You haven't suffered what we have. You aren't a part of us. So he had that experience. I'm wondering who his parents were, coming out of unrighteousness. All the other children were dying. He should have died with them. But he was saved for a purpose. So this other man, it turns out, it is believed that it was his father that Moses killed and buried in the sand, who was beating on a Hebrew. The reason he was beating on a Hebrew man was because this Egyptian one had raped the Hebrew man's wife. And that man was the product of that rape, because he went to all the tribes and said, can I come into your camp? Can I come into your camp? They said, no. Who's your family? Who are your people? Go to that tribe. And his mother was from the tribe of Dan. He didn't know who his father was. And they were organizing according to patriarchal lineage. Who was your father? Okay, you belong with that tribe. And so all the tribes set up camp. He says, I don't know who my father was. My father, I believe, was an Egyptian. My mother, she's from the tribe of Dan. So he went to the tribe of Dan, and the tribe of Dan broke it to him who his father was, who his biological father was. And instead of being sad and following Jewish law on his own, even if he had to, I go with God even if I have to have no people, no friends. I am a stranger in a strange land. No matter where I go, I'm on the outskirts of communities. No matter where I go, I'm never fully ingrained into a community because I won't practice certain things, or they don't like my vibe, but I'm not doing anything wrong, so they have no reason to get rid of me, but they're not 100% comfortable with me. And I don't condemn what they're doing. I just don't join in with them. And so that makes them uncomfortable with what they're doing. So they'll hide a lot from me. So this man, he just became very angry and was starting fights and, breaking law, whatever. And so he had to die. And so the lesson in that was, when we come from hard times, when we come from repression, are we going to be like Moshe? Are we going to be like Moses and be teachable and humble and express our feelings of inadequacy to our Creator and allow our Creator to facilitate the role that our Creator wants us to play? Or are we going to be like this one who, because he feels he was given evil circumstances, he is thus right for doing evil, visiting evil upon other people? So this is a warning, an illustration of these people who are suddenly becoming aware of ancient knowledge and awareness that their origins were with mighty leaders. And even to Yah, a lot of them, that's where the term Yahoo comes from. Yahweh, Yah, any kind of Jehovah, Yahweh, all the tribes, it's coming up, So how do we respond to that? Do we say, oh, we are the only righteous people? Or do we say, okay, we too are accountable for laws and culture that was lost? Now, how do we apply this? Because the whole goal of the law is not only so we can live in right relationship with our Creator, but these laws help us live in right relationship within our families, within our communities, within creation, with the earth itself. That's the goal of the laws. It's not to govern you in the sense that Western people, you must obey this law. This law is unmovable. There's punishment for it. Yeah, you're going to suffer. It's just natural that if you're not in a healthy relationship with healthy boundaries, there's going to be suffering. It's going to be uncomfortable. And if you allow it to go on too long, there's going to be violence. So, the law is just an informing of healthy boundaries. Hey kid, don't go over there. That's a cliff. You're going to fall. Okay, I won't go over there. It's slippery at the edge of the cliff. And then you got the kid. You're so controlling. I'll bet I can walk near that cliff. And, they can live along those cliffs until a good rain comes and the ground washes away out from under them. I didn't do anything to deserve this. I didn't do anything wrong. God is unfair. My parents hate me. They're not helping me. What's wrong with my neighbor? They let this happen. Blah, blah, blah. Blaming everybody but themselves. You stepped out of the healthy boundaries. Or your ancestors did, and you inherited their living outside of the boundaries. And so, it is a hard pill to swallow, and I swallowed this pill where you admit it is only righteous, it is only true that I come from where I came from. There's a reason why I was exposed to the Catholic Church. My father was in the military. All symptoms, all signs show the MK Ultra program. When he came out of the military, moved into the Masonic branches, and so my family has suffered what it has suffered. That is what I came out of. I chose not to join them. I chose not to be like them. But because I spurned my ancestry and did not keep their traditions, I am a stranger in a strange land, no matter where I go, spiritually, energetically, physically. I'm just a forager. I'm a gleaner off the spiritual fields of mankind, off the fields of consciousness. And I'm okay with that because I abandoned evil traditions. And I refuse to buy into corrupted traditions. I'm walking the narrow path. And it's hard. But I'm not sitting here saying, this is the only way. This is what I'm the only true follower. No. There is some old Catholic woman who has never harmed a soul, who just eats what they traditionally eat, but is pure of heart, cares about her family, cares about her community, is soft-spoken, loves the earth, loves the animals, nurtures things. She knows about medicinal herbs. She knows about this and that. You go to a tribal shaman, and you say, "Oh, I'm sick, I'm sick." And he says, "When was the last time you sang? When was the last time you danced? When was the last time you communed with the divine within you to receive the divine that exists outside of us? When was the last time you did this?" These people who kept these ways, they're going to make it through tribulation just as much as if I do. Just as much as anybody of any tradition does. So to go and say these people are on treacherous ground, the ones who say we're the only ones that are right, we're gonna rule the world, we're joining these people to go against these people because they claim they're the only true ones. And well, what are you doing? You're claiming you're the only true ones. So it's the ganging up against whoever they decide is going to be the spiritual, emotional, and physical punching bag for humanity's hatred, anger, and frustration at this time. It sucks. But there you have it. All these claims are coming up. They're due to come up. And if you need to know the background, use caution. The Nordics. Oh, we're here to help people. No, you look to the people who have had interactions with them. They give people faulty technology in exchange for power, control, and resources. The Greys gave faulty technology, just something a little bit off, one connection not quite, included in the instructions, in exchange for people out of the population to be abducted and genetically experimented on, cloning, stuff like that, because that's how the Greys reproduce. And the Draconians give us people to terrorize, children to terrorize and sacrifice and all of that, and will give you power, glory, and money. Don't go with caution. If you're gonna go and explore all these alien races, go with caution and discernment. If not, you're gonna end up in an underground bunker where the Draconians are gonna come up and make a last meal out of you. That information's going around a lot, that the elite have been creating bunkers. What do you think is going to happen down in those bunkers? You are the last meal for a race that knows it is about to meet its maker. Do not be fooled.